You can
So,
understand
yeah.
lactate as this pressure release valve,
Mm-hmm.
right? It builds up because the ability, the resistance in a given cell is too high, right? Energy potential is so high, and there's so many electrons flowing through glycolysis that the mitochondria can't
Mm-hmm.
sustain that. And then if the electrons can't enter the mitochondria Krebs cycle or electron transport chain, then the electrons, like they're diverted. And then the electrons are put on pyruvate, and then pyruvate becomes lactate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lactate dehydrogenase. Then lactate is thrown out of the cells, like too many electrons here,
Yeah.
right? So it's like a circuit over
Overload.
surcharge,
But I think it's
overload.
overload. And yeah, to like in the same thing in electric circuits, right? Like that electron needs to flow somewhere, and our perception of that lactic acid buildup or that electron overload
Hmm.
is what we feel as lactic acid and perhaps pain.
Yeah. And that's part of the dissipation process, you're right? If your muscles are burning, and then like Nirosha is saying, this it produces lactate. Lactate goes in the blood. Where does it go from there? Like lactate has two extra electrons that it wants to get rid of. That those electrons want to get onto oxygen at some point. And there's something called the Cori cycle, Cori. So that's lactate from the muscle that goes up to the liver, and then the liver takes the lactate, those two extra electrons, gives them back to NAD, and then the liver will then oxidize, right? They will convert lactate back into pyruvate, and then it can put it back into glucose, and then put glucose back out into the blood, and then the glucose can go back to the muscle. That's kind of the Cori cycle. But other organs like the heart will just literally just burn the lactate, takes lactate, bring it back into pyruvate, and then oxidize it as a really good fuel source. The brain will do that as well. So that's literally energy resistance, excess electrons, because EP was too high in the muscle, and then flux was not high enough to sustain this. Energy resistance reaches a critical value, lactate is spat out, and then those extra electrons that reflect the resistance go out to be relieved, right? To be dissipated by the heart, by the brain, or by some other organ. So that's what happens during acute exercise, right? You get a spike in energy resistance, and then you get this whole beautiful physiology that mobilizes to dissipate it. Your question also was about chronic exercise, right? Or physical activity. The same way that there are these physiological systems that are mobilized within like seconds to minutes to relieve this excess energy resistance. Physiologically, all of our biology, physiology, hormones, cytokines have evolved to decrease energy resistance and to build, the circuitry better so that next time the energy potential spikes up, next time you do that 100-meter sprint or, sprinting up the stairs, you're better prepared, right? So that you don't experience this massive rise in energy resistance that could be damaging and, shorten your life.
Yeah. And I think all of those parameters that you're mentioning are again back to the efficiency metric of transforming that energy. Because I think the ERP to me, like if you break it all the way down to just heat, dissipative loss, and if you're not able to productively use that, then all of these evolutionary metrics of cytokines or building more mitochondria within your muscles to run faster next time, or even after getting sick, all of those are mechanisms to making sure that the next time you have dissipative loss, that is transformed into something productive.
That's more efficient.
That's more efficient. So, I mean, we are building the ERP out more, so there should be parameters that take into account temperature, efficiency, capacitance, all these things. But yeah, it's quite interesting.